Welcome to Revisit Books podcast, where we turn books into bite-sized wisdom you can use every day. I am thrilled to jump into this one. Today we're looking at Less Doing, More Living by Ari Meisel. It came out back in 2014, but honestly, it feels more relevant now than ever.
It really does. And I think to truly get this book, you have to understand where it came from. The whole philosophy, it didn't come from someone who was just, a little too busy.
No.
It came from someone who was facing a pretty serious life-threatening health crisis.
Right. So Ari Meisel, he was an entrepreneur, and in 2006, he gets this diagnosis of severe Crohn's disease.
And not just a mild case. I mean, this was extreme. He was on 16 different pills every single day, in and out of hospitals, and he said himself he was nearly dead.
That context just changes everything, doesn't it? This isn't about finding a better calendar app. This was about survival.
Absolutely. And his first steps were, pretty radical, all focused on his body. He got deep into yoga, completely changed his diet, natural supplements, and then this insane fitness training.
The Ironman.
The Ironman France Triathlon, which he completed in under 14 hours. Just mind-boggling.
So he masters his physical health, but that wasn't the full picture.
Not at all. That was the key realization for him. Even after conquering this huge physical challenge, he figured out that fitness and nutrition, they weren't the complete answer. The root cause, the thing that was really draining him, was stress.
Specifically, like the stress of daily life, the little frictions.
Exactly. The mental overload from just living inefficiently.
Yeah.
So he took that same analytical mind he used for triathlon training and just pointed it at his own life.
He started self-tracking everything.
Everything. It was all about data collection and analytics, which eventually became this less doing philosophy.
And the core mission, it's not really about time, is it? It's about mental space.
That is the whole game. It's about reclaiming your mind. Because when you're using all your brain power to remember to buy milk or schedule a dentist appointment, that's bandwidth you can't use for creativity or just relaxing.
So it's about offloading the clutter to free up what he calls your most precious resource.
Your mental capacity.
Okay, so let's unpack the framework. This is kind of the operating system for the entire book. It's 3 pillars, right? OAO.
Yep. Optimize, automate, and outsource. And the order, this is the crucial part, the order is absolutely non-negotiable.
So you have to start with optimize. What does that actually mean?
It means you look at a task and you are just ruthless. You break it down into the fewest, most essential steps possible. You simplify it, you standardize it, you strip out everything that isn't absolutely necessary.
Okay, so you perfect the process first, then you move to automate.
Only then. Automation is where you use technology or some kind of system to get that task done without you having to touch it. The whole set it and forget it idea.
And the last step is outsource.
Right. And this is for whatever is left, the things that, actually need a human brain or a pair of hands. You delegate that perfected task to someone else, like a virtual assistant.
And he has a golden rule here, right?
He does. And it's so important. Never, ever outsource an inefficient task. If you do that, you're just paying someone else to be inefficient for you. You're paying for your own waste.
So who is this book really for? I mean, when I was reading the praise for it, it doesn't just seem like it's for CEOs.
Not at all.
Sure.
I mean, Dave Asprey from Bulletproof, he called it a guide to strategic laziness.
I love that phrase.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's about focusing only on the stuff that gives you the biggest results and doing it just well enough to get what you want.
So that speaks to the person who feels totally overwhelmed.
Oh, for sure. If you feel like you're constantly busy but not actually moving forward, that classic burnout feeling, this is your way out. It directly attacks those daily stressors that don't just kill your productivity, they actually drain you physically.
I also think it's for that, the aspirational person, the entrepreneur or the student who wants to achieve more, but they're just drowning in emails and admin stuff.
Yeah, they know that working more hours isn't the answer, but they don't have, a system to escape that grind. This is the blueprint.
And what about the information overload? The feeling of just mental clutter?
Huge. For any manager or professional today, that's a massive problem. You have this feeling of 1,000 unread articles and notifications swirling in your head. One review called the book a kiss read, packed with tools to simplify. It helps you cut through that fog.
Okay, but there's one person I think this is really for, and it's the person I related to the most. The guilt-ridden time saver.
Ah, yes.
Tell me more.
You know who I'm talking about. The person who works late, they finally carve out an hour of free time, and then they feel guilty if they just want to watch TV or scroll through Facebook.
Because they should be doing something productive.
Exactly. That little voice in your head saying you should be working on that never-ending to-do list.
And what Meisel argues, which I love, is that that's a system failure, not a personal failure.
Right. The whole OAO framework is designed to get rid of that guilt. If you've handled your essentials, then that free time is earned. You can spend it however you want, guilt-free. It's about creating real boundaries.
Okay, before we get into the key principles, I have to challenge you on something.
Go for it.
He sets these really aggressive goals. Like, the famous one is keeping only 10 emails in your inbox. For the average person getting 150 emails a day, that just sounds impossible. How do you even apply that?
That's a great question, and it's so important. The goal isn't the number 10. The number is just a tool. The goal is to set a limit that forces you to make a decision.
Okay.
So maybe your limit isn't 10. Maybe it's 50 or 20. But if you have 150 emails and you can get it down to 20 with some smart filters and rules, you've still optimized your situation by, what, like 86%?
So it's about the process, not the absolute number.
Exactly. The psychological freedom you get from going from 150 to 20 is the same freedom you get from going from 10,000 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
You start with what you can control.
That reframing helps a lot. Okay, let's dive into the core principles, the foundations of the system.
Right. The first big one is all about focusing on the essential. And this starts with the concept most people have heard of, the 80-20 rule.
The Pareto principle.
The Pareto principle, the idea that, roughly 80% of your results will come from just 20% of your efforts.
So in a business, like 80% of your profits probably come from 20% of your clients.
Exactly. Or 80% of your headaches come from 20% of your processes. The big takeaway is you shouldn't just focus on managing time. You need to focus your energy on that high-impact 20%.
But how do you find your 20%? You can't just guess.
You can't. And that's his next point. You
Yeah.
can't optimize what you don't measure. You have to track your time and your activities to get real objective data.
So he recommends some tools for this. The first one is for computer usage, right?
Yep, Rescue Time. It's brilliant because it's passive. You install it, and it just sits in the background, like a little accountant for your digital life, tracking every website and app you use.
And it tells you if you're being productive or not so productive.
Right. But it also has an automation feature. You can tell it to block distracting sites, like social media, for certain periods. So you're literally building a system to protect your focus.
Okay, what about tracking accomplishments?
For that, he likes a tool called iDoneThis.com. It's super simple. It just sends you an email every evening that asks, what did you get done today?
And what's the psychology behind that?
It's about offloading. When you write it down, you get it out of your working memory. You're not mentally trying to keep a running tally of your day's wins, which frees up cognitive space for the next day.
And he even takes tracking into health with Inside Tracker.
Yeah, and this is next level. It's not just a yearly physical. This is about tracking specific blood biomarkers.
Okay.
Things like vitamin D, C-reactive protein, which is an inflammation marker.
Why is that part of a productivity system?
Because your body is your hardware. If your hardware is running poorly because you're low on a key vitamin, no amount of software tricks will make you perform at your peak. It's about optimizing the whole system, starting with you.
Okay, so once you know where your time is going, you move to optimizing the processes themselves. This is the manual of you.
I love this concept. You literally write out your routine tasks step by step, like you're writing an instruction guide for someone who knows nothing.
The IKEA assembly manual analogy.
Exactly. He tells this great story about trying to outsource how to create a discount code on Skillshare. He wrote out what he thought were 16 perfect steps.
And it failed.
It failed immediately because he, having done it 1,000 times, subconsciously skipped a tiny, non-obvious step. He forgot to write, go to the dashboard. And because he was forced to explain it to a stranger, he had to make it explicit. And in doing so, he found redundancies and streamlined the whole thing down to just 9 steps. Now that manual is bomb-proof. Anyone can do it.
It's that mindset shift, thinking if this, then that, before you even start.
Totally. You anticipate the problems. If the attachment is too big, then do this. If the client asks for that, then send this template. You solve the problem once, forever.
The last piece of this first block is organization by limits.
Yes, using limits to force conscious decisions. His famous example is his box of electronics. He has one egg crate for all his cables and gadgets.
And if something new comes in,
Something old has to go out. The box is always full. It forces him to ask, is this new thing really more valuable than what I already have? It prevents clutter.
And the same principle applies to his 10 email inbox limit.
Right. Again, it's not about the number 10. It's about having a limit that forces you to process things, not just let them pile up into a massive, stressful archive.
He also talks about lower limits, which is interesting.
Yeah, we always think about upper limits, but lower limits are just as important. It's about setting minimums for good things. A minimum of 1 trip a month or running 30 miles a week. It protects your rest and your health.
All right, let's move to the second block. Offloading your mind and eliminating that mental clutter.
This is a big one. His argument is that using your brain for storage is just profoundly inefficient. It's unreliable, and it kills your idea flow.
Right, your brain should be for having ideas, not for holding them.
Exactly. You need an external brain.
Yeah.
A reliable place to dump everything.
And for him, that's Evernote.
Evernote is the heart of it. It's free, it syncs everywhere, it takes any kind of input. And he says, don't be afraid to overuse it. The power isn't just in taking notes, it's in the search.
The web clipper feature is pretty amazing.
Oh, it's a game changer. You clip an article, and later when you're working on something new, Evernote will actually surface that old note because it sees a connection. It's like having a perfect searchable memory.
And you have to capture ideas everywhere, right? Not just at your desk.
Yep. He even recommends Aqua Notes, which is a waterproof notepad for the shower, because that's where so many good ideas happen. The point is to capture the thought immediately before it disappears.
Okay, so this leads to a pretty controversial idea he has.
Yeah.
He says that your to-do list is, and I'm quoting here, destroying you.
It sounds crazy, right? We live by our to-do lists.
So what's his argument against them?
His argument is that they become these dumping grounds for things you can't actually do yet. Big, vague goals like write book. And when you look at a list of 40 unfinished things, it's just a constant reminder of what you haven't done.
It triggers something called the Zeigarnik effect.
The Zeigarnik effect, it's this psychological quirk where your brain hangs on to unfinished tasks. It creates this low-grade constant stress.
So what's the alternative? If not a to-do list, then what?
Timing. You forget about prioritization and focus only on timing. You break write book down into write 100 words in the next 15 minutes. Something small, actionable, and timed.
And this is where he brings the email inbox back in as a hyper-focused to-do list.
Right, powered by a service like followup.cc.
How does that work?
It's so simple, it's brilliant. Say you get an email you can't act on for 4 days. You just BCC it to an address like 4days@followup.cc. 4 days later, that email reappears at the top of your inbox, fresh.
So it leverages the fact that we can't ignore our email.
Exactly. A calendar reminder is easy to snooze and forget. An unread email demands attention. It forces you to deal with the task at the exact right time.
Okay, so let's get into the OAO tools. This is where we really put the framework into practice. He starts with virtual assistants, VAs.
And he encourages everyone to try using a VA, even for just a few small tasks a month.
Why?
Because the process of having to explain a task to a stranger is the ultimate optimization tool. It forces you to create that manual of you. It exposes all the flaws in your own process.
And he talks about two different types, right? On-demand versus dedicated.
Yeah. On-demand services like Fancy Hands are a pool of assistants. They're great for small, quick tasks. Dedicated services like Search will give you one specific person, which is better for more complex, ongoing work.
He seems to prefer the on-demand model for a lot of things.
He does, because it creates what he calls bomb-proof delegation. If your process is perfectly documented, any assistant in the pool can do it. You're not reliant on one person. It's like storing your files in the cloud instead of on one hard drive.
And then you can automate the process of delegating. This is where IFTT comes in.
Yes, if this, then that. This is the pinnacle of automation. It connects different web apps to create automated chains of events.
Can you give us a concrete example?
Sure. Let's use his blog post example. The trigger is, if a new post appears on my blog's RSS feed,
Okay.
the action is, then automatically send an email from my account to my VA's service address. And the body of that email contains the perfected step-by-step instructions for submitting the blog post to a site like StumbleUpon.
So the moment the post goes live, the VA gets the instructions automatically. Zero involvement from him.
Zero. It's a perpetual motion machine for outsourcing.
The next idea is customization. The idea that we shouldn't settle for one-size-fits-all solutions.
Right. And the barriers to creating custom solutions are so much lower than people think.
He gives examples in health with custom vitamin packs and clothing, with custom fit suits from Indochino.
Yeah, but the story that really sells it for me is the 3D printing one.
The Mac Mini bracket.
The Mac Mini bracket. He couldn't find one he liked. So he drew a terrible sketch, paid someone $5 on Fiverr to turn it into a 3D model.
Sent the file to a company called Shapeways, And they printed it and mailed it to him for $43.
And then, this is the best part, he put his custom design up for sale on their platform and sold 6 of them. He made a profit by solving his own niche problem. It just shows that customization is for everyone now.
And a big part of this is going paperless. Paper is enemy number one.
It's just inherently inefficient.
Yeah.
So you want to reduce the paper coming in with services like LifeLock that cut junk mail. And for the mail you do get, you use something like virtual postmail.
That's the virtual P.O. box where they scan your mail for you.
Right, and they'll even deposit checks for you. And for all your existing documents, you use a tool like FileThis.com to automatically pull your bank statements and bills and file them as searchable PDFs right in your Evernote.
And once you've eliminated all that, you can focus on batching.
Yes, grouping similar tasks together. You do all your cooking for the week on Sunday. You handle all your admin on Friday morning. You only have to get into that specific mindset once.
Okay, the final block is about reclaiming your time and really your health. It starts with choosing your own work week.
This one is pretty radical. He decided he was only available for external contact on Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Why?
to force other people to be more efficient. By limiting his availability, he implicitly forces clients and colleagues to batch their requests and be more thoughtful when they contact him.
How does he enforce that without sounding like a jerk?
With a tool called Schedule Once, he puts the link in his email signature. If you want a meeting, you click the link, and it only shows you the times he's available. It automates his boundaries.
And he uses Right Inbox to schedule emails to send later, so he's not creating an expectation of an immediate reply on a Friday night.
Exactly. It lets him clear his head over the weekend.
Okay, next. Stop running errands.
They're a total waste of time. For all your non-perishable stuffed dog food, batteries, coffee, you use Amazon Subscribe and Save.
Right, set the frequency and it just shows up.
And it becomes a physical reminder system. When the new Brita filter arrives, you know it's time to change the old one. No mental energy required.
And for real-world tasks like getting groceries or taking the car to the shop,
You outsource it with a service like TaskRabbit. His example of hiring someone in LA from his apartment in New York to buy and build an IKEA slide for his nephew for $47. It just perfectly shows the leverage you get.
okay, financial efficiency. Being a financial sushi chef.
Cutting out the fat. You start with oversight, using Mint.com to get a full dashboard of your financial life.
Then you use more surgical tools like BillGuard to flag weird credit card charges.
Yep, things like double billings or subscriptions you forgot about, and Bill Shrink to analyze your fixed costs, like your cell phone bill, and tell you how to save money. He's saved $13,000 in 2 years with that.
And all of this brings us to the final and maybe most important foundation, wellness.
It has to be, because his whole journey started with his health. Your body is the ultimate limit on your efficiency, so you have to optimize your fitness, sleep, and nutrition.
For fitness, he suggests a fitness triad.
Right. Keep workouts short, like 30 minutes. And you balance 3 things through the week. 1 part strength skill, like a back squat. 1 part high-intensity interval training. And 1 part mobility, like yoga.
But the real cornerstone, he says, is sleep.
It's more important than fitness and nutrition combined. He says poor sleep is a hormonal catastrophe. It makes you hungrier, less satisfied, and you spend all the next day fighting a willpower battle you don't need to fight.
And his tips are pretty simple. No blue light from screens an hour before bed.
And using the 1.5-hour sleep cycle rule, sleep happens in 90-minute cycles. So if you need to wake up at 5:30 a.m., you work backward in 90-minute chunks and aim for a bedtime of 11:15 p.m. to get 4 full cycles in. You wake up feeling way more refreshed.
For nutrition, he advocates for a high-fat, low-carb diet.
Right, but good fats. Avocados, olive oil. His reasoning is that our brains run really well on ketones, which come from fat. It gives you sustained energy and avoids the crashes you get from carbs.
And finally, he recommends 3 universal supplements.
Yeah, things that are just hard to get enough of from a modern diet. Krill oil for omega-3s, probiotics for gut health, and vitamin D, which is crucial for, well, almost everything, especially if you work indoors. So when you pull it all together, the entire system of less doing, more living is really this deep commitment to that OA framework. Optimize, automate, outsource. It's a path to not just productivity, but genuine freedom.
You've just absorbed so much information from this breakdown. I think the challenge now isn't to go out and implement 50 new tools tomorrow. The challenge is to start small.
Yes.
Find one task that you dread or one process you know is clunky and just apply these principles to that one thing. That's the first step.
And as you start on that journey, there's one final thought from the book I think everyone should keep in mind. It's the ultimate leverage point, and it brings everything full circle back to his health crisis. Sleep. Sleep is the big one.
What does he say about it?
He says if you eat a perfect diet and you sleep a lot, you will almost never have to work out intensely to maintain a good body, as long as you just make an effort to move every day. It just shows you where your primary optimization effort should always begin, with rest.
That's today's breakdown. While this discussion cannot replace the book's full text, it can offer a glimpse into its teachings. I hope you found this discussion helpful, and I look forward to sharing more. Let me know what book next you want to discuss.